Now, following the schedule, this year we are thrilled to bring back the Roundtable, the IDOH Roundtable. But instead of students, we are shining the spotlight on the real masterminds of the program, so the coordinators themselves. There's a little bit of twist here because I won't be calling up names specifically. So I would like to have the brave coordinators on the stage here. Don't be afraid, we have plenty of chairs to pull in, so please, let's welcome all the coordinators that make this master's program possible for all of us. Yeah. Okay, we have some people already there. Thank you. So we have shared like a Google form online to our previous IDO alumni students who have shared their questions to the coordinators. So we're just gonna ask them straight to them. Okay. Are we expecting more? Okay, so Pat.
Okay. So, yeah, from the roundtable questions that were fielded, we've got, how do you see courses such as IDO being future ready, i.e. paving the way for a world into artificial intelligence and the like? Well, a running theme of the whole of today, really. A real softball, that one.
We're too old to answer that, of course. At least comprehensively. No, I think we really have to implement this at some point. I wouldn't really try to put it in every module that there is, but there are certainly some that we also want to implement in the next round. For example, I have one contact to a new One Health Institute in Germany, and there, for example, they are doing metagenomic sampling of environmental DNA. So they're going into the jungle, and they say, for example, that flies harbor most of the highest variation of DNA sequences because they eat leaves, they eat other insects and so forth. So by that, you can actually sample also pathogenic DNA synapses. But this is, of course, a vast amount of data. And I think without AI, you cannot analyze that because it's terabytes of data, sequencing data. So I don't know how far they are, but this is something, to my mind, when you do analyses like that, and then the students also in parallel learn to use these tools to analyze such big data, I think then it makes sense, and then we should go for it.
Yeah, just, I don't know if it works.
Might just have to trade out.
I guess now, yeah. Well, I believe that artificial intelligence is here to stay, so we cannot hidden such a situation. So I believe that it will be needed to incorporate to a certain degree into the program or the future IDO. The point here is where to be implemented, because at the very end, of course, you can have a particular session on artificial intelligence applied to One Health, and in fact today we had a really nice example, for example, this morning. So I'm pretty sure that this can be applied at multiple levels. The point here is how to make the corresponding drawing within the whole program, because as you know, this is a very complex master's degree in the sense that there's lots of people involved from many countries. So from this point of view, it's important as well to have a good coordination in order to avoid overlappings. However, anyway, artificial intelligence must be implemented, not just in the terms of teaching, but even for yourself. Artificial intelligence tools are available on a daily basis already. However, I would like to remind that the natural intelligence is also very important, so do not forget that. It's important.
On a lighter note, so we would like to ask our coordinators what were the most exciting and interesting stories within this whole program that we were coordinating. So maybe Ms. Stephanie, would you like to go first?
It's a complicated question, actually, because we had a lot of exciting events. Perhaps it was the first intake coming, because, I mean, you already see your dream become reality, because at the beginning you just have a good idea. I mean, you hope it's a good idea, and you are doing everything you can do, and once you have all the students in front of you, it was very, very great. And perhaps the second event I could think about is that we have been able to maintain the IDO program even with the pandemic. Yeah. And it was quite challenging, but I think that finally we succeeded in a way, so yeah.
So I remember with the second intake, so during our first intake in Hannover, we made the connection to the Isle of Reims in the very far northeast of Germany, where they work on many different dangerous animal diseases. And in the second year, or second intake, we did an excursion to that place. And it was in December, and it was -5 degrees and 10 centimeters of snow. And before we left, I told everyone, you put on everything you have. And then 5 people showed up with sneakers. I was like, what? And so we went out there, and they had to take samples from half wildlife ducks. So a swab from a duck in the water in the Baltic Sea at -5 degrees. So this was really something. And it was a fun day for everyone and a remarkable experience. So that's from my perspective.
Some of them survived.
Yeah.
Well, in my case, I must confess that I'm much more a kind of administrative coordinator of the IDO Plus in Spain, and Laila Darwich and Chiara Seminati would be the ones that have very real, personal experience with all of you and all the cohorts. However, I have been participating quite actively on the selection process. And for example, during the interviews, it was always a very interesting question, which was, what do you know about the countries you eventually will be taught, means Germany, France, and Spain. And at the time of Spain, I expected something, for example, technology or something like that, but never appeared something like that. Always it was bullfighting and football. Everybody knew Leo Messi and some other players, but almost never they reflect something related with the, let's say, technological capabilities of the country or something like that. I hope that after staying in Spain, you have changed a little bit, at least your mind.
Okay, so maybe I lied about them all being easy questions, but what motivated you to take on the role as IDO coordinators?
So I was coordinating with other colleagues the local master degree, and I'm happy to see some of the students here now. And we wanted to open the master degree to more international students. So we said, okay, if we really want to open to international students, we will need funding. And what is the best source of funding for international students? It's the Erasmus Plus Action. And so finally, we went there. And even if I was quite afraid at the beginning, because it's like it's a big challenge to start this kind of program. Finally, I'm really happy, and I'm really happy to what I've learned from the students, the multiculturalities that I have discovered. I don't know, they are holding the gun now, but you will not see all the beautiful dresses they had from all the country. But I mean, it was so great to see students who have never met before, and finally how could they become very tightly knit together. So yeah, it was very great. So even if it was scary, finally I'm happy.
For me, it was really to establish a new modules, a new master at Hannover Medical School, because we had some life science masters, and to my observation, I was also doing some teaching, and this was all very much scheduled, like high school, not very much freedom or not very much variety in the institutes that are participating. And IDO opened up the possibility to do like, to invite people from Berlin to do a mobile lab, to go to this Isle of Reims, to involve the veterinary school to get them closer to us, to really improve One Health, and also to do some genomic stuff to be, to teach the students human medicine and molecular biology, but to set up that in a new frame, I think that was the motivation for me.
In my case, it was completely different because the very first IDO program, it was Natalia Major, one of my colleagues, who was the coordinator at that time. However, by 2019, she was appointed as the director of a research center, the Research Center for Animal Health. So then I'm entering into the scenario, but let me explain a very bad joke in Spanish, which is two guys that find each other and one say, "Oh, do you know that John died? Oh, because of what? Oh, because of cataracts. Oh, it was under surgery. No, it was pushed away." So it happened the same to me. So I was in the cataracts, and Natalia came here to my office and said, "Kim, you should be the coordinator of IDO. You come on, Natalia. I'm so busy. I cannot do that." "Oh, you will do very nicely. Don't worry." And here I am.
And you did.
Okay, following up on that, of course, the students have learned a lot from this master's program and from the coordinators, but to switch the role, what is that one thing that you have learned from the IDO students or the IDO experience?
I think it's a strength to be far away from home and relative, because I'm already very impressed to see quite young people, usually, leaving everything behind them, and to be sure that it will be a great experience. So yeah, I'm really always very impressed.
I learned so much about many different cultures, and I was extremely astonished by the motivation that the students show to learn new things, because they, of course, come from a very different backgrounds, also from different knowledge backgrounds and technical abilities, but they were all eager to learn, and I hope they learned a lot during the master, and this was really something for me that I learned.
Yeah, I would agree with both Stephanie and Jens. However, one of the things that to me is one of the best things is to see people from all around the world, that they stay together, they feel like friends, they act as friends, and this is something that it's the most important added value that they will give for us. But for us, as coordinators, this is one thing that we really, really help us learning even more and being more willingness to keep on going with this kind of master.
So another question that came up from the group was, when picking students for the IDO intakes, what carries more sway, the academics or the interpersonal skills and the like that the students demonstrate before coming into the cohort?
Before the application?
During the application process.
Well, I believe that both things are important, because at the very end, when you have to go into a selection process, of course, at the very end, the academic degrees and the previous knowledge that you may have and the background that you may have is important. However, you might have excellent, let's say, titles. However, during the interview is very clear who is dominating the subject, who is really willing to be there, etc. So I believe the interview is a compulsory part for trying to select the best people for staying here. So from this point of view, I believe that the interpersonal skills are really important, because at the very end, those people will leave their country, their family, etc., their friends, and will be challenged continuously in different countries, because it's not the same to stay in Spain, in France, or Germany. So from this point of view, I believe both things are really, really important.
I can only agree that we look at our list that we have after the written assessment, and then during the interviews this changes a lot, because exactly to the reasons that Kim just mentioned.
Yeah, I do think that it's important to have a good scientific background, but yes, motivation is really the key. So it's really important for us, to, even if that's 15-20 minutes during the interview, but we have like a good feeling of the commitment of the student, and also it's a way for us to check that they have fully understood what they will learn and if it's really the master degree they would like to do. So yeah, it's very important.
Thank you for that. I think this would be our last question for our coordinators. What is that one message that you would like to give the one that is graduating and also the following cohorts that's coming? Advice. Yeah, advice, message, or a note.
Always work together.
Don't be afraid of the cold and grey Hanover. It's going to be great.
And enjoy life. So if you have chosen this opportunity, try to enjoy as much as possible.
Thank you, our lovely coordinators, for being so brave and coming to the stage. Thank you so much. With that, I think we're ready for, first thing first, I need to hand over the mic to Dr. Stephanie for the closing remarks, and then we can proceed to the graduation. I think we are already ready and warming up there. So yeah, congratulations, guys. And thank you.